Living above your means and going broke. Let's talk about it.
I can go to Target and spend $600 and then I can take it all home and regret all of it.
Then return it.
But I don't.
Okay.
So then I just am negative $600 for going to Target.
And how much is this loan that you took out that he doesn't know? $6,000. Almost what you bring in after taxes and everything on a monthly basis. Immediately. A month has to go to that. How much was this vacation? You took out $6,000?
No, the vacation was $4,000.
What kind of lifestyle are you guys living?
Champagne taste on a beer budget, it seems like. We kind of spend when we want to spend.
What goals do we have for you guys, for the kids? Where are we trying to be? Looking 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. What are we trying to do? Because right now we're just living for fun in the moment. What are we trying to do?
Oh my goodness. First off, I could not ever imagine spending $600, regretting it, and then not returning it. Like, drive to Target and take your stuff back to get your $600 back. Wild. Yeah, guys, so today we're talking about basically overconsumption and people living above their means and in return wondering why they're in the spot they're in financially because either one, they just have no recollection of what's going on, or two, they're choosing to not pay attention to it. And as we talk about, it's not probably the best time to be doing that. With how expensive just everyday cost of living is, it's probably not the best time to be overspending and living above your means.
Our generation has done such a terrible job at normalizing overconsumption. Like the fact that there are people in their mid-20s that think that it's normal to spend $300, $400 placing an online order on just a random Tuesday, or watching girls in their mid-20s go to Ulta and Target once a week and drop $200. That is crazy, and the fact that we don't think that that's crazy is so scary. And I just want to tell you that if that seems out of touch for you and out of reach, it's because it really should be. It should not be the standard to spend money like the people on this app spend money. Period.
Preach, girl. I mean, seriously though, like I watch videos still when I'm prepping for a video, and it's like, you know, there's so many videos that I watch on TikTok and I don't include them on the channel, but there's still ones I'm just like, what in the actual hell is going through, unless they're just like made a just amount, I can't even like just some of the stuff I see, I'm just like, holy cow. I guess I don't get it. I really don't get it. Unless they're made of just a bunch of money and they can afford it. If you can afford it, you do whatever you want. It's the people that I'm talking about where you make these decisions, you overspend, you're putting all your money towards makeup or, you know, spending it on a trip you can't afford by putting it on the credit card or whatever it is. All the useless spending items, I got one in here for you. That's a doozy. But it's just like, it makes me wonder, where did this go wrong? Like, is it social media that's normalizing this? The overspending, the spending $200 on makeup a week? Like, I don't remember the last time my wife's bought makeup. To be maybe a year or two ago. I don't know. It's wild. And I feel like these newer generations are just kind of following suit. And I'm hoping, me and all my other finance creators, and that we can kind of have a revelation of like, we don't need to spend this amount of money. That shouldn't be the norm. Now, I wanted to look at some comments on this one because I had a feeling there may be some people going back and forth. You know those videos you watch, you're like, gotta click the comments for sure. This was one of them, and I'm like, okay, let's take a look. One person was saying, why do people need to spend more than one Stanley? I'm confused. Wait for it. I'm just gonna say that. Wait for a future clip. Taylor here says, literally every holiday, everyone has to go buy all new decor. Like, what happened to the stuff from last year? Seriously. I mean, we have a little tote container we keep in our attic. That's like we have our Christmas decoration, Easter decoration. We'll sometimes buy like one or two things to add for the kids or whatever, but I mean, it's not like we're going out and buying all new stuff. It says overconsumption of food is an issue too. We aren't meant to be just grabbing food, eating whenever. I've talked about it previously, had a whole video on it. Uber Eats. I think that's a lot of people's bad spending habits, is going towards something like that. It's wild times we're living in. So wild that Steph says $100 is the new 20. Facts.
I saw a video on here once that said everything in your house was once money, and I've been pissed about it ever since.
That's a good one. I mean, I just look at my office, and behind the cameras, TV. I mean, a lot of my stuff, I would say in my office, I have meaning, has value, it brings me joy, or it's something that I use on a daily basis. Even old Snorlax here. But do that. Like, walk through your house, open your cabinets, go to your garage. Everything you look at used to be money, unless it was a gift, obviously. Wild. Puts a whole new perspective when you walk through your house.
Get ready for another video to send your spouse because I absolutely have more cups than you.
Let's declutter Starbucks cups, glass sipper cups, and tumblers.
And yes, this will once again be multiple parts.
I'm going to start with Starbucks cups.
I've been collecting them for about 8 years, I think. I would love to get rid of half. I do want to still have a full rainbow of them because I like displaying them that way. So let's start down here with the pinks and reds. Oh my gosh, look at the dust on these.
Those are just her Starbucks cups. Oh my goodness. Think about how much money was spent on those cups. I'm speechless. That doesn't happen often. I'm speechless.
It's midnight and I got the sudden urge to declutter. And if you've seen the channel, you know this is the only way I know how to do it. By taking everything out, looking at what's done, and then having no choice but to clean it up because we can't live like this. Can't really move or function, so I think I have to start right here where there's like an open space. I'll try not to impale myself on this stick. Donate. I don't know. I feel like I use those sometimes. These are pretty ratty. I think I'll just buy them.
All right, you know what? So what? I'm here for that. I am. I kind of like that idea. That way it actually puts it into perspective what the heck you've been doing and how much stuff you really have in your cabinets, in your house. Just lay it all out on the floor and then go one item by one item and either get rid of the dang thing, sell it on Facebook Marketplace to earn a couple extra bucks, or figure out if you really, really do use that item and you really need to keep it. Guys, that's one thing my wife and I do a lot. I think my wife's become more worse than I am over the years, but we are like, if we have an item in our household that we don't use or that doesn't have a specific reason for us to have that item, or it's not an item that just like brings us joy or value, we get rid of it. We sell it. We sell a lot of our stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and it's funny because we actually get comments from our friends and other acquaintances throughout our personal life. They're like, it's usually my wife because she's the one who sells a lot, and then I'm the guy who has to get stuck, meeting somebody to get the money. But everyone's like, oh, either we'll get a comment where it's like, oh, you guys sell a lot of stuff. It's like, well, once we're done with what we have, we just get rid of it and sell it. Or we'll get the other comment of like, oh, it's, I wish I could be as, what's the word I'm thinking of? I forget how they always tell my wife, but it's like, oh, I wish I could declutter as much as you do or whatever, which, to be honest, a lot of the stuff now we've kind of run out of, but we just over the years have really been cautious about how much we spend, how much we're really using, and the items that we do need to spend our money on that we purchase are actually going to be something that we do use, and it's not just going to end up, in the kids' closet or in a random cabinet that we're never going to touch for 2 more years. There's just no point.
Can we normalize just being broke in our 20s? Like, why are we all spending so much freaking money? I mean, if you got it, then you got it. But I just feel this insane amount of pressure to travel multiple times a year and buy all the latest trendy outfits and shoes and bags, and go to these expensive dinners that are photogenic and buy the $20 cocktail. I'm like, maybe I'm putting this pressure on myself, but also everything I see on social media is about spending money. It just makes me sad that social media has just been this big flex of like who can own the most stuff and who can go on the most luxurious vacations. And it's like, in reality, we are literally so young. We are in our 20s. This time is for like grinding and hustling and saving money and being okay with like our not perfectly put together homes and just like getting by. Obviously, no hate to anyone for living their life, but also if you're on here and you're feeling the same way, let's just agree that it's okay to like save our money and not spend every single penny that we make. Being financially responsible is cool, and I'm gonna normalize that.
I'm with you. I want to normalize financial responsibility being cool as well. But I do, guys. Like, I think, so here's the problem, right? Like, when you think of our parents, the Gen Xers, or maybe your parents are the boomer generation, keeping up with the Joneses was like your next door neighbors, or the, kids' family that was rich at the local Little League baseball team. But now it's glorified, right? Now you're getting exposure to people across the world and people in different states that you never would have met before. And you're getting exposed to these lifestyles that, to be honest, half of them or more than half of them are probably fake for social media. Some of them are legit, and some of them are, people who have a lot of money. But I think that has increased this keeping up with the Joneses mentality to a point where a lot of people are going to get hurt, seriously. Because here's the other thing with that. Social media has been growing, and it got, real popular, I would say, probably right after I graduated high school or college. I graduated high school in 2009, graduated college in 2014. So, like, it still wasn't, like, super popping like it is right now. Like, I would say probably more like your 2016 is when stuff really started picking up on the social media. The short form really, I think, brought a lot of attention to different items as well. And I just feel like just this mentality of spend, show off, everything that I have, that I need, that I want, I think that's really been hurting our generation. But what the point I was making is that we've also been in a bull market. Our economy has been exploding over the past 15, 16, 17 years, since 08 and 09. So when you think about that, these newer generations have forgotten, and they've never even realized or learned or understood what it's like to go through a major recession. Like, guys, I know we talk about it, like, the cost of living being high and everything like that, but like we haven't even come close to experiencing a major recession, besides maybe what happened in COVID for 3 months of the time. But none of us have really, in my age and under, because I'm 34. I mean, I remember 08 and 09, but I wasn't like working. I didn't have a family or nothing like that. I wasn't in debt. My family experienced a little bit of it, but other than that, it's with this keeping up with the Joneses mentality, the going into debt, living off credit cards. People haven't had to like wake up, because generally everything's been okay. Now, are we moving to the path of like, holy crap, where everyone's gonna have to wake up because unemployment's gonna skyrocket and everyone's debt's gonna get called and they're not gonna be able to make these payments? I don't know. There's just a lot to unpack there that I don't have time to talk about in this video. But you gotta think about that. Social media has increased the keeping up with the Joneses mentality tenfold, while also living in a very bullish market, raging economy, where times have pretty much been pretty good for the most part. Obviously a few things here or there. Once the shit hits the fan, people are they're gonna have a major problem on their hands.
This is the most indebted generation in history. All I'm saying is I am here as a messenger of the next generation. I'm telling you, this is bad. This generation can't own anything. They owe so much more money than generations prior. This is the most indebted generation in history. Gen Z owes the most money in any history, any generation in history. So we wonder why then all of a sudden, hey, you want to go buy a home now at the age of 38, your credit score is destroyed. Your spending habits are terrible. You don't want to save and you don't think you should save. And you know what I hear from some of them is they say, well, why should I save when what I saw around me is that you need to get into this economy and spend because the savers got wrecked in 2008. There is economic nihilism that is set in to a lot of this next generation where they're not participating in any of the upside right now. In fact, they're only seeing the downside. They're seeing their apartments get smaller, their rents go up, their groceries get more expensive.
That's the other big thing I want to talk about here too, guys, is like, you look at the stock market right now, like depending when this video comes out, like today, stocks are soaring, right? Your investments, if you've been invested for however long you've been started buying investments, I mean, they're at all-time highs. They're making new all-time highs, I feel like, every day. And then you have the side of people like what he's mentioning where it's, if you're not participating in that, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, or worse, you can't afford to live paycheck to paycheck, and you are choosing to have these bad financial habits, you're not getting the good part of the economy. You're not getting the good part of being financially responsible by investing your money, by saving your money. And he said everyone thinks that all the savers got wrecked in '08 and '09. That's not true. The people who were over leveraged got wrecked in '08 and '09. A lot of people got hurt in '08 and '09. I'm not going to say that. But the people who really came out on top in '08 and '09 were the savers. It was the guys who were still investing. They still had money in the market. They lost, had unrealized losses. But the biggest thing where it changed a lot of people's lives during that time frame is the guys who had money on the sidelines. When you have the money on the sidelines, you've been saving, you lived responsibly, and then all hell breaks loose, that is the best time to buy, guys. This leads me to Warren Buffett's famous quote, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Basically what that means is when times are good, be cautious, still invest, still do your monthly dollar cost averaging, but when all hell breaks loose and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm falling apart, my life's falling apart, no one's investing, stocks are making new all-time lows, that's when you want to be buying. That's when you want to increase those investments. Because over time, as we've seen the history of the market and the economy, there's going to be a turnaround point where everything goes back up. You just got to be prepared to be able to make those investments from having the savings, from living financially responsible and not being in massive amounts of debt. That's the key part there that I think a lot of people don't talk about, is you want to be set up for them when the tough times hit. So whenever the tough times hit, you can take advantage of it because all the prices are going to be lower. So whenever things come back to normal and everything goes back higher, you're going to be sitting pretty.
I'm just going to be real. And I have $400 in my savings. I've been living back at home for 2.5 years. I don't know how that's happening, where the money's going. Actually, yes, I do know. It's going out to groceries, it's going to student loan payments, and it's going to paying off my credit cards, which I use all the time. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's time to pay the bill. So then I need to pay whatever money that I get paid, the little amount that I get paid while serving. I need to put that towards my credit cards. So, and then I was taking trips last year because I was like, YOLO, why not just live it up now, because I'm never going to be living at my parents again. And it's here I am still. But now my finances are, so can we just be real about it? Does everyone have a big savings? Because I am so embarrassed. It's embarrassing because that also gives me so much anxiety, because I'm like, wow, at this rate, I'm never going to afford anything. I'm never going to afford living my dream life. Who do I think I am? Then the Delulu is money comes and goes. The more you put out, the more comes back. And it's I'm still waiting for it to return to me. But anyway, I'm this close to spending that last $400 on a one-way ticket to Europe. It's Valentine's Day. I don't have a Valentine. I'll be my own Valentine and gift me the best gift. No, but how does the money, I'm looking back, I'm like, how do I only have that much money to my name?
I can think of a few ways. No, but for real, I think that's a big problem. My first thing with that clip, though, is where's mom and dad? I just think about if my daughter was 27 living with me and only had $400 to her name, there would be some bigger issues that I would be dealing with. And I'll be honest with you, I would not be letting my daughter live with me at 27 years old if she's YOLOing every weekend. There's no way. I would not put up with that. And I think that's probably one of the issues. But the other thing is we have to take accountability. There comes a point when you're your own adult and you can't be making the decisions like that to put yourself in that position to then question, why do I only have this much? Why am I not set up in life? Well, you have to have a reflection and look back on yourself and the decisions you're making. And if the decisions you're making are not good financial decisions, you're going to end up in that spot. 27, living home with mom and dad for 2.5 years and only having $400 to your name. Those 2.5 years should have been spent paying off credit cards, paying off student loans, living as cheap as you can while not having any rent or mortgage payments, and trying to make as much money as you can to be able to get yourself out of mom and dad's house because you've cleaned up your finances. That's not the time to YOLO, right? And I'm with the enjoy your life, but you have to do it on terms that work for you. I'm at the belief that you should not be YOLOing and enjoying all these massive, fun times in life until you have your finances set up. And if you start early, if you start at a young age, it doesn't take that long to get your finances set up because you don't go and rack up all this debt. That's the problem, guys, is most people are just jump right into buying the new car, getting credit cards racked up, student loan payments, whatever it is, and then it screws them up for years to come. If you just don't go into bullshit consumer debt, save money, start investing early, live below your means, build up an emergency fund, continuously trying to increase your income through job promotions, switching jobs, changing industries, starting a business, whatever it is, tacking on side hustles. That's how you get ahead financially, guys. And you can do it.